Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. Today it's going to be a collection update slash kind of a collection tour. This is basically a video to kind of show you what I've been working on, what I will be working on, and what's kind of gone. I've been just kind of moving a lot of inventory recently, so some stuff may have been sold, some stuff may have been kept, but a lot of stuff's moved around. So over here, we'll kind of start. It's going to be arranged by railroad, and then once there's like 2 or 3 per railroad, it'll just be all of the ones that are left. So we'll start over here. This is my New York Central 20th Century Limited by Key Imports. So far, this locomotive is stock, nothing. Has a can motor, factory painted, has lights. So this will be a pretty early on conversion because it'll be easy. So that's it. That's a beautiful engine. The New York Central Hudsons are my favorite engines, so you'll see I have 9 New York Central Hudsons. So, yeah. Moving on to the other Streamlined, I have 4 of the Dreyfuss Streamlined with PT tenders. So the PT tender stands for passenger tender, and they are the bigger tenders. So you can see how this is, you can see this. It's basically similar to a UP tender, so you can see these are the identical models, just different tenders, and this one's a little bit older. But as you can see, I have 4 of them, and all of them are unpainted. All of them are basically like new. Actually, but 3 of them are like new, and then this one needs some work. But these are all beautiful models. I got them as a package deal, so I couldn't really say no, because I wanted to get one. But it was a really good price to get all 3. The next one I got is this New York Central Super. These are called the Super Hudsons. So the Super Hudson was basically a de-streamlined. So it's this engine. It's basically one of these, just without the shrouding. So this is probably the biggest, most modern Hudson. Has the flat face, kind of very similar to the New York Central L4Bs. So they're pretty cool. That is, I made a video on one. This is not it. This one's basically brand new. I sold, the other one is gone, and I bought this one because the other one really needed to be repainted, and it's easier to repaint a unpainted model than repaint a painted model. So that's why. Here's one of my, I think this is my 4th brass engine. I get this one, I think 4 years or 3 years ago, and it was not working, so I fixed it. And I put DCC and sound in it, and I did not paint it, but I've been running this engine for a long time. And yeah, you can see how tarnished it is versus the other ones, which are more recent and have been stored, because I got this one before I had enough storage to store everything. So this one sat out, so that's why it's so much more oxidized. Moving over. This model right in front of my finger is a Boston and Albany J2. I don't know if it's a B or a C or D, but this is a unique Hudson because the Boston and Albany was a much more mountainous route. So these had smaller drivers, and I don't know if they were 72s versus 79, so they were a little bit smaller. So you may be able to see here, you can see the gap between the brake shoes, and then over here you can see how there's a much smaller gap, because the J2 and the J1E are very similar, but just different driver size. So I got this, it was in a West Side box, but it's missing, it has the wrong tender, but I'm going to do a tender swap with something else down the line, so I'm not too worried about that. And then here is my 2nd ever brass engine, but it's the oldest one that I own that I've bought myself. So this is a New York Central J1E Hudson by West Side. This is my first paint job, and I'm not really happy with it because the primer I used did not stick well, but I'm not going to repaint it because it's a lot of work, and I put a lot of time and effort, so I may weather it a little bit to just kind of hide that off. We'll move down here again. And now I am going to do some diesels, but not a lot. These are 2 Hallmark FTs with the all the up top goodness. These are, as you can see, these are painted lightning stripe. So I actually painted these because, as you can kind of see, trying to get all the decals under there and to lay flat was a pain in the butt, and it was easier to mask this all off than to try to get everything flat. And then here's something really cool. This is a old 10 Shoto diesel that I put DCC and sound in. Actually, no, just DCC. But it's really old, and it's been in my family for a long time, so it's kind of a fun little thing. So those are my two New York Central diesels I have. Then going back to Steam, my two switchers. This is a New York Central B11. So this is one of the 3 surviving New York Central steam locomotives. That, and then there's 2 mountains. So that's why I got this, because there's not much left, and it was a good price, and this one's basically brand new. It's never been run. This does need a CAN motor, but one thing I have been trying to do is get models that do not need CAN motors. So that's what I've been doing, is basically buying ones that either have them installed or newer versions that came with them from the factory. This is one I've had for a while. This is a Akane. This is a really old but really good Japanese engine, built like a brick outhouse. It has the New York Central tenders. This is basically a New York Central U3, because the U3s are just USRA copies. And this one runs really well. I put a Micro Mark CAN motor that I had, and it just runs really good. And I don't want to mess it up, so it has a decoder in there, just no sound, so I can run it a lot. And I do. It does need a front coupler, though, and I am thinking about painting this one soon, because it'll be an easy paint job. Next up is a New York Central K3. Now, I've been looking for, or a K5, sorry. I've been looking for one of these for a while, and I found this one. And then something unfortunate happened. Is I was running trains and I was not paying attention, and after running for about 25 minutes, it randomly found a spot it didn't like and tumbled onto the floor. So you can see it's a little bent up here, and then that's a little bent back there. So that really pissed me off, and that's why I've been a lot more careful recently, just to avoid things falling and breaking. And then finally, for the New York Central, we have my New York Central H10B. Now, this model I put a lot of effort into. And then it kind of just, I repainted it, and then it just hasn't been running well. I do not like I do not like Northwest Shortline gearboxes anymore. They're made out of plastic, and they don't run well. Like, this one's perfectly quartered, has a perfectly good mechanism, but runs like shit. Or crap, sorry. Runs bad. So I did that, and I'm really kind of upset about that. But it looks great, so I'm torn, because I'm going to have to take it apart all again, which I don't want to do. So that's it for the New York Central, and we'll get on to the other railroads. Okay, here we have the Pensy collection up. So we'll just kind of start. In the back, we have my only Pensy articulated. This is a Pennsylvania HH1. That is basically an XNWY3. This is from a time when the Pensy owned a majority of the NNW, so they had a lot of NNW mixed between the two. The only difference that I have found is that there's a keystone and not just a circular, like where the most regular NNW engines have. This one is a NJ Custom Brass. This is from their Royale series, so very fancy. The cab should come off, but this one may have been soldered on. But it has a full interior detail. You may be able... It's kind of hard to see in there, but it has a full interior detail, and it's a beautiful engine. Moving over, this one is one I've had for 3 or 4 years at this point. This model really kind of needs to be reworked. It looks like it was painted and then stripped, because like you can see all the different colors on the boiler and everything. Which I don't normally see, but it's okay. It's a West Side model. It's the earlier version without a CAN motor. It runs really well, just in a straight line and not much else. So just kind of a basic engine that needs all the work. Going left, we have a Pennsylvania J1. This is a West Side Imports, West Side Model Company, and this is one that I painted a few years ago. Then did a weathering job because it got dropped by someone else, so I had to fix it, and the paint didn't exactly match, so I weathered it, and then it looked weird just having a weathered engine, so I weathered the tender too. So yeah. That has DCC but not sound, and it has a really old decoder that when I can have this running at full speed and it's really slow, and then if I mess with 00 on my Digitrax command, it will go faster or slower depending on the speed that I put 00 at, and has a decoder. It's really weird. Over here we have my Baldwin BP20s. These are Alco models. These are coffee grinders, but they're unique, so it's kind of what you have to suffer with. And I'm going to be putting a P2K drives in. I got two Proto 2000 PAs that are going to be gutted, and all the good parts will go into there. Moving over here, we have kind of the one of the most unique Penske engines, or most iconic, is the Penske I1. This is a 210. This is detailed in pre-war, so that has the headlight front mounted and has the shorter tender. These are beautiful engines. That is a PFM model that I got 4 years ago. Has full Tsunami 2 sound, and it's just a beautiful engine. Weighs a buttload and sounds good too. Over here is a Penske L1 that I painted. Has full TCS wow sound, and yeah, it's just a fun engine. It has the connectors I used are not that great, so it puts a lot of pressure. So I may rewire it, but right now it works. So that's kind of where I'm at. Now over left is a Pennsylvania K4. This is a Alco models, but this is a really good engine. This is one of their best engines ever made. One of their best models, and runs beautifully. Has a nice can motor from the factory. Whoever painted this did a good job too, but I got it as non-running, and the only thing was there was there was a little short in the engine that took about 2 minutes to fix, so that's a good sign. That still needs a decoder and sound and everything. Over here is another one of the ones that I've had the longest. This was a gift from my grandfather. This is a Pennsylvania K4, another one of the most common. This is detailed in the post-war, which means the headlight is on the smoke box and the dynamo is in front of that. This is basically, regular Penske kind of standard. This is how the K4s came and how they looked in the later years. This was a really unique model, but I'm not going to go into all the details right now. Over here is a Oriental Limited Pennsylvania M1, not an M1A, not an M1B, just an M1. And differences were the tender. You can see this tender has a much wider doghouse, and it's 8 wheels, and then the M1A and M1B had a more slim doghouse, and they were 6-wheel or 6-axle trucks. Or 6-axle tenders. These are both Orientals. They're both factory painted. That one's weathered and that one isn't. This one has full TCS wow sound with the keep alive and everything. So this one's basically done. This one needs all the works. Needs sound, DCC, keep alive lights. So yeah, another project. Then here are two Sunset Penske H10s. These both are kind of junky because whoever messed with them before me did not do a good job. They were just quick and dirty. But they were getting prepared for sound, but they never had sound installed. So it's a little annoying, but they were cheap, so it makes up for it. Over here is a nice one. This is a Pennsylvania H6SB, painted for Pennsylvania number 1. I painted this model, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So yeah. And then over here is a Pennsylvania A5. This is a Sunset Models. Sorry, this is a Lambert. They made a few steam engines, and they were all really good. This is a Sunset Prestige Penske A5. This one was a basket case. It had a short in the driver. It was missing a bunch of stuff on the front. But I got it for $40, and so that's why I got it. And it runs really good, actually. Then over here is a Pennsylvania B6SA. It's a 060 Very similar to the B6SB, except for the firebox. You can see here, unlike every single other, or most other the Penske engines I have, it does not have that square firebox. This is a radial stay firebox versus a bell pair style firebox. So that's what makes this interesting. And these have actually held their value even during the, well, BLI came out, because BLI did not make this. So, cool little fact. So that's it for the Pennsylvania collection, and then we'll be moving on to C&O next. Okay, so now here we have my C&O collection. Now, this is one that actually a majority of the engines have decoders. I have 10 C&O engines, and 6 of them have decoders. So I have a majority of them have decoders, which is nice. So we'll kind of start in the back again. There is a C&O H6. That is a PFM United. That is the last run that they made in 1974. But still was unpainted, still an open frame motor. So that one I recently did. It has a, had to replace the motor, put in a new Tsunami 2 decoder, and did a firebox flicker. It's not done yet, because you can see on the other side there's still some stuff, and it's just not done yet. So it's going to need some work. So, not a big deal. Next, we have a West Side model C&O T1. These are amazing engines. I bought, this was actually my, actually no, this wasn't. This is a one that I got at a train show. It was already lighted, and I put a decoder in it, and it runs great. No tweaks, and this is probably one of my most reliable engines. Never had a problem, so I'm really happy with it. Okay, moving over, we have a PFM United J3A. This is one of the really beautiful ones. I actually had I had 3 of them at one point this year, but I kept the nicest one. So you can see this one is basically mint. This has never been run, and I'm still really torn if I want to paint it or not, because it's beautiful. It's very pretty, and I don't want to make it not pretty. I mean, I'm not unconfident in my work. It's just, this is such a pretty engine as it sits. I really can't decide. Moving left, we have a, this is my first C&O engine. This is a PFM United C&O 284. This has DCC and sound, but unpainted. I did that a lot in the beginning because I was late. Really wanted to get engines with sound in them, and I haven't painted them because I have engines that are unpainted that also don't have decoders. So I'd rather paint those, and then I don't want to take out the decoders from the ones that run really well. So that's why. Yeah, that model runs great. It'll get painted someday. And yeah. Next is a precision scale C&O 284. This is the earlier run. So 2716, the one that's still around, is actually based on the earlier run. So if you look at this, you can see that there's air tanks and stuff on this one, and on this one there's a big coil. So the PFMs were not accurate for 2716, and it was easier to buy this one because it was a good deal because it didn't run. So it was about the same price as a really nice or a painted PFM one. So I got this one instead. And then going to the left is another precision scale. This is a D&D one. This is a C&O Yellow Belly, except this one's orange. This is the unlettered one, and this is a beautiful model. Really exquisite craftsmanship. I bought this because there was another engine that I bought with it that I wanted. So this one I just kind of haven't sold yet. But it's beautiful. I don't know if I will sell it now because it looks pretty. But yeah. And then right here we have one of my favorite engines. Again, most of my favorite engines are C&O because of how kind of cool they are. This is a C&O C15A by Lambert. This is a Platinum series. It has a backhead. It's really hard to see. But this one has sound in it. And let's see. I had some big speakers. So you can see the speaker is big enough that it takes up that entire enclosure, and the speaker's about that wide. The speaker takes up basically the entire footprint of the tender, not height-wise, but definitely area-wise. And it's just a 080, beautiful engine, and runs really well. Has firebox flicker on it and runs great. Over here are two C&O K3s. These are PFM United Crowns. This is one that I got that was beautifully painted. You can see here, just beautiful paint job. And I got it from a guy who, it was a really interesting story. But this one's beautiful. Has Tsunami 2. And I've had it for 3 years at this point, and it's just never missed a beat. It's just a great engine. And then I bought this one because it was mislisted, and it was a good price, and I bought it. So I actually just made a video about this. It was unpainted, the wheels weren't painted, so I did a weathering job. And I kind of liked having one that was really beautiful, and then one that had been a little bit more neglected. And then the final C&O engine is a C&O F19. This is a 462 Pacific that pulled the George Washington. I like it. I wanted it because it's basically a K3, but with a 462 mechanism on it. If you look at them, they're very similar. So that's why I bought it. And this one was I got it from Howard Zane. Some people may not know who he is. Some people may know him. There is 3 C&O engines I want. There's a C&O J2, which is the C&O Mountain. I want the C&O 280 by Overland, and then one I had that I really regret selling was a C&O H7, which is a 2882, and I really regret selling that one. So yeah, but move on to the next railroad. Okay, so here is the miscellaneous engine. So this is basically if I have less than what can look decent filling up the yard. So this is going to be the longest section, so let's get into it. Starting over here, we have a Baltimore and Ohio EM1. This is a Key Imports models. I got this at Timonium. And yeah, got it brand. Basically, it was like new. Put a decoder in it and left it. Runs like a watch. And yeah, beautiful engine. And will get painted whenever I feel like it. Next up are 2 really beautiful engines. These are 2 Baltimore and Ohio S1As. These are both Overland models. I made a video about a West Side, so I haven't made one about these yet. But these are both just amazing models. And they both have blind center drivers, which means there's no flange. So these can run on like a 28, 30-inch radius without a problem, unlike the West Sides, which actually need a little bit more than which do not like a 30-inch radius at some times. Going left, we have a B&O T3T. This is a West Side model. West Side models imported. This is a pretty unique mountain. It's the best mountain that West Side made, and it has full TCS, DCC, and sound. The tender with the keep alive and everything. So yeah. Moving over is another West Side models. This is a B&O Q4B with the auxiliary water tender, which is that big little cylinder thing over there. And this is a interesting model. There was 2 versions of this. There was one with the footboard pilot, which is like a switching pilot, and then this one, which has the road pilot. They had different size motors, and this is the one you want. This is the road pilot version. You can kind of see down there. It's road pilot. These have a bigger, better motor, so that's why you want them. Yeah. Moving over, we have a Lambert B&O E24. This is a model that I painted and has full DCC and sound and everything. Runs like a watch, amazing engine, and yeah, I love it. Left is a Sundancer. This was basically the Pro Custom Hobbies in Maryland imported these, and they were great little unique engines. And yeah. Okay, so going left, we're transitioning to my 2 Western Maryland engines. Actually, I have 3, but the third one is in a box because it was drop damaged. So yeah. This is a Oriental Limited Western Maryland H9. These are beautiful engines. Amazing. They're worth about $500-600. which is pretty expensive for an Oriental 280. But these are the best Oriental 280s that I've ever seen. They're way better than any other Western Maryland 280 by the H9 that's ever been made. Over here is the Shay that is in the actually has the most views. I think it's like 10,000 now. But this is a Western Maryland Big 6, or the Western Maryland number 6. Big 3-truck 150-ton Shay. Just actually put DCC and sound in it, and it runs really good, but it still needs more pickups. I added pickups in the back too. It still needs another pickup on the front, so that's going to be fun. Okay, now moving one track in, we're going to do my Redding collection. So we're going to start smallest to biggest. So we have a Redding 080. This is actually kind of a little, it's from a Redding I5C by Gem. So it's basically, it's a shorter pilot. The pilot's been cut down, and and the front truck was taken off. So pretty simple. Just a really nice little 280, or 080, sorry. So yeah. Next up, we have a Redding L7SB. This is a 460 that was built by NJ Custom Brass. This one was completely rebuilt by one of my grandpa's friends, and it's beautiful. So it's sitting here. I haven't painted it yet because there's something kind of cool about seeing like what some people can do and not painting it. Yeah. Okay, going over, we have a Redding I8SB. This is a 280. This is a NJ Custom Brass. Very similar. You can kind of see they're both very similar. This one I painted and weathered. So yeah. This runs great. It's a nice little model. Then up next is two Overland Redding T1s. You can see this one is basically brand new. And this one's been super detailed. I made a video about this one. They both still need paint and they both still need sound, but again, that's more projects. Going right, this is my Redding K1. This is a NJ or a nickel plate product. Sorry, beautiful little engine, runs great. Or big engine actually. It's the world's heaviest 210-2. And yeah, it has DCC and sound, but still needs paint. Like most of my stuff, needs either one or both. Going right, we have a Redding N1. This model I have not made a video on yet because it runs like absolute trash. Really poor runner. I will be doing a whole gearbox conversion once I can find some gearboxes that I'm happy with. Okay, now coming down, this is going to be a lot of hodgepodge. So here's my only Erie engine that's operating. This is a Sunset Erie 210-0. It's factory painted, but I weathered it. And I did all the white walls and all the running board edges. Pretty basic model, but I was bored, so I did that. Going left, we have a Overland Central Vermont U1 without the smoke lifters. I'm not a huge fan. I like the one with the smoke lifters more, but this is, it's pretty good. I've gotten this model to run pretty well with some tweaks, so yeah. Going left is a Central Vermont M3A. I had two of these, but the other one's at my a friend's house because he likes to display them, and I have no use for it. So it was a little Christmas gift for saying thank you for some of the things he did for me. So going left, we have a Nickel Plate Products Lackawanna 282, Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western to be specific. This has the big footboard pilot. And I got this because it's an interesting engine and it was cheap. Or it was cheap for what it is. And I really like it. And yeah, I've been trying to get some more unique engines. So a lot less, things you can buy in plastic, but a lot more, just more unique stuff. So going left, we have a Overland C&J M3AS. There was a bunch of different versions of these. These are beautiful models. My grandpa had 4 of them. This is not one of them, but this is one that we got a few years ago, and does not have the original box, but has DCC and sound, and runs great. Yeah. Okay, going left, we have a C&J T40 Camelback. This is a 460 by Key. It's factory painted, and it has the coasting gearbox. So if you want to do some switching with the engine, changing it from one stall of the roundhouse to another, then go ahead. Then moving on here, this is one that I've been kind of looking for a while. This is a NNW 611. This is a Key Imports model. It's painted for 611, which the last 4 I've had have not been. They've all been like a different number or unpainted. There's a can motor, great engine. Just needs DCC and sound. So yeah. And then we're gonna get on to the Western stuff. So this is a UP P77. Yeah, this is a the UP 49er. This is like the ketchup and mustard scheme. So pretty unique engine, and yeah, love it. Over here are my 2 SP engines. This one I kept it because it was a good model, and I did not do it. The install on this was not great. I did it really sloppily. The paint job is actually really good, but everything else I'm not happy with. So I'm gonna tear the entire decoder out and change it up. And then to the right, this is the last but not least. This is a West Side Models SP GS4. Just kind of the basic model, factory painted. The only thing I've done is I've painted the front truck and I've painted the driver so they're not that kind of off color. So that's it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. So there are many projects and many locomotives not filmed. This project though is probably one that I feel deserves a little bit of a spotlight. This is a conversion that I'm doing. It is a regular standard PFM Union Pacific 280 that I have been slowly converting to a Erie C21 consolidation. A friend told me it would be a very easy conversion, and as I kept going, the conversion kept getting more difficult and more difficult. So, yeah, lots of work was done. You know, as you can see, I had to swap the sand domes, had to put in new cylinders. But that's it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions or anything else, just put them in the comments, and have a great rest of your year.